You're an emerging manager. In my mind, it was just, you work in a team with a couple of people you get on with really well in an established firm, and now you're going to do it somewhere else. But presumably that's not always how it works. Maybe there's a couple of people coming together from different firms. Maybe there's just one private equity investor and there's some industrialists, and maybe they've never worked together at all. Is that sometimes how it works? And if that is, how can you get a sense of the team's dynamic, its track record, whether it's going to gel, that kind of thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think what you allude to is, in the PE jargon, we call it like a first-time team, first-time fund. Because a lot of LPs, they say, okay, first-time fund I do, but never first-time team. Because it's just new people coming from different backgrounds. They say, oh, it's a bit risky because it just came together. I think at Unigestion, of course, it's not 100% of our portfolio, but we embrace and we also, engage in this first-time fund, first-time team situation. But of course, the due diligence is more heavy, of course, on the references, on the work that we do. But I think it's a lot of good things come out from these groups. But of course, you need to assess the team dynamics the right way. So it's talking. Of course, it's a lot of referencing. It's also meeting them one-to-one or together in a formal setup, in an informal setup. So of course, the due diligence is very long. It's not like, okay, we meet and we start the DD and in 3 months you get our commitment.
How many times would you typically meet up with an emerging team before you make the commitment?
Minimum time of due diligence, 1 year minimum. Some, it's more also when we don't come in the first infant one, but infant two, it's 5 years, 6 years. It could be very long, but I think to assess the team dynamic, and here I'm just not talking about the senior people, it's the whole team. So to talk about, to the juniors, to the analysts, to say, okay, how do they behave? Or just to ask, okay, do they have disagreements in the office? Or is it always between closed door? Or if you have a personal issue, would you bring this to them? So I think we have quite a structured interview that is not plain vanilla, definitely not, but we have some sort of structured interview with the different team members to try to assess this team dynamics, because from an LP perspective, it's always very hard to understand what happens behind the curtain.
Yeah.
And I guess it's it's just the biggest risk early on, right? Which is, it's an existential one, not just, will they do great deals, or even will they get a fund together? It's, will this work? Will they stay together? Yeah. Will they get on? Will they also an ability to work together, and can they actually execute as a team in this sort of format? And that's why you've got to very early on have quite a lot just to show for in terms of, look, we're doing things. It might not, and getting a fund together is one of those things. If that's why having a first close is such a big deal in terms of de-risking that, because something must be going right in the team dynamic, but also earlier deals and things like that are, or just the way that they're building their firm that shows, okay, look, this is gelling, this sort of works in this way. But it's, I
think, you need to really understand how can these people disagree together? Because I can tell you, in our experience, so the 30 years emerging manager experience of Unigestion, the funds that went bad, so it means bad like we lost money, so not the full money, but less, we didn't get our cost back. It was always the team exploding. And of course, very often on the back of the first investment or the second investment turning bad. Yeah. And they start to disagree, and then it explodes, and everyone goes in different ways. It's really, that's why now we have a very stringent focus on that.